Of one of the biggest and destructive street gangs in our area. Florencia 13 have been arrested.
The scene of a federal takedown. LA County deputies raided 30 homes linked to the South LA gang Florencia 13.
In the murder of an off-duty police officer, the sheriff's department just announced 4 people have been arrested for the shooting death of Fernando Arroyos.
This is the story of Los Angeles police officer Fernando Arroyos, an off-duty officer who was executed in South Los Angeles by Florencia 13 gang members while out looking for a home in the neighborhood with his girlfriend. What should have been a normal day quickly turned into a robbery. Authorities say he was approached for his chain, reportedly worth only a couple $100. Gunfire was exchanged, but within seconds, Officer Arroyos was shot and killed. Federal investigators later identified Ernesto Cisneros, Jesse Contreras, and Luis Rios, each linked to Florencia 13 as directly involved in the killing. All 3 have since been sentenced to decades in federal prison. A 4th person, Haylee Grisham, was also charged in connection to the case, later receiving about 9 years for her role after the crime. Florencia 13, also known as F-13, is one of the most established street gangs in South Los Angeles, with a long-standing presence and influence across entire neighborhoods. What started as a robbery over something so small ended in a loss that shook the city and brought national attention. 4 people now behind bars, 1 life gone. This is how it all unfolded.
En route to the medical examiner's office, which will perform the autopsy. You see the car there being followed by friends and family members.
This kind of violence isn't a surprise when it comes to Florencia 13. Also known as F-13, the group has been one of the most established street gangs in South Los Angeles for decades, with roots that go back generations. Over time, their presence expanded across multiple neighborhoods, building influence through territory, numbers, and long-standing connections both on the streets and within the prison system. But with that influence came a reputation, one tied to violence, retaliation, and ongoing conflicts with rival groups. One of the most recognized tensions has been with sets connected to the East Coast Crips, where disputes over territory and identity have fueled years of back and forth violence. These weren't just isolated incidents. They became part of a cycle where retaliation often led to more retaliation. What started as issues between specific gangs eventually spread beyond just those directly involved. In the city of Watts, this isn't just about one rivalry. Florencia 13 has long-standing tensions that go beyond individual groups, and across the city they're not welcomed. Watts is heavily influenced by established groups like the Bounty Hunter Bloods, Grape Street Watts Crips, and multiple Sereno-affiliated sets that already hold ground in the area. Because of that, stepping into that environment means constant tension, where you have to be ready for whatever comes with it. This isn't just about territory, it's about presence, reputation, and the reality of long-standing conflicts that have shaped the city over time. And cases like this don't happen in isolation. They're tied to a deeper history of influence, tension, and violence across South Los Angeles. In the end, justice came in the form of federal sentences. Ernesto Cisneros, Jesse Contreras, and Luis Rios, each receiving decades in prison for their roles in the killing. A 4th person, Haylee Grisham, also held accountable, sentenced to about 9 years for her involvement after the crime. 4 people now behind bars, all for a decision that took only seconds. But for Officer Fernando Arroyos, a young officer simply out looking for a home in the neighborhood with his girlfriend, there's no sentence that can bring him back. His life was taken over something so small, in a moment that should have never happened. And cases like this, they aren't the first. And unfortunately, they won't be the last. Because the reality is, this kind of violence is tied to something deeper, long-standing issues that continue to affect communities across South Los Angeles. Remember the name, Officer Fernando Arroyos. Like, comment, share, and subscribe.